social bonds. Katya and Larisha are providing valuable insight into tiger society. It is time to move on. But John and Linda will return to Katya's home and continue searching for answers to the tiger's survival. Today, the scientists will attempt a helicopter capture of a tiger named Natasha. The batteries on her radio collar need to be replaced. If they fail in their efforts, a valuable study animal will be forever lost. Biologist Bart Schleyer joins the team in this crucial effort.
Before the capture, before we take off, I'm just incredibly tense and nervous, and I think everybody is. Once we get into the air, the feeling is still very tense, but we all become so focused on what we're doing that in general I lose my fear and a lot of my apprehension.
First thing we do is of course we fly to that animal's home range, and we're searching for the signal. Once we get the signal, we want to hone in on that animal as quickly as possible. So everybody on the helicopter, really, we're cooperating, just trying to get the first visual on the animal.
It's very important that the first person that sees the tiger communicates that to someone who can communicate it to the pilots, because the pilots are the ones that have to see the tiger right away, because they're the ones that are going to follow it.
There is definitely danger involved because you're working at such close quarters to the tops of trees. From the air, there's a very small target, and especially from the air because you're looking down on their back. And with an animal moving in the trees, there's usually not a big period of time that you have that you can take a shot. It's usually a little narrow time frame that you can take a shot at an animal, and that's usually when they're stopped. A dart doesn't fly like a bullet. A dart is affected by gravity, and it's also affected by prop wash, and it flies more like an arrow.
This capture was a little more difficult than some of our other captures because Natasha was in the river bottom where the trees are really tall, so we couldn't get down as close to her as we would have liked to.
They're not really afraid of this helicopter, this monster, and it's a big helicopter, this monster in the sky that's following them. They're not afraid of it, they're just mad at it. And they would be perfectly willing to just try and pull that thing out of the sky if only they could reach it. So you get a dart in, you wait a little bit, and see what kind of effect it has, because it takes 5 to 10 minutes for ketamine to have an effect on the animal.
Our biggest concern is that the animal is down. As soon as it looks like it's down, we got to get on the ground as quickly as possible. At that point, when the animal's on the ground, every minute is crucial.
You can't get to the animal as quick as you want to make sure their breathing is stabilized, and also when you are approaching an animal, they're not held by a snare, so there's the possibility that the animal will come for you.
We all share in making sure that we're monitoring respiration all the time.
Yeah, you can get visual on her pulse.
Watch her.
Yeah.
And cut that one dart. Relax.
Tip her head back a little bit. Except for that one canine, her teeth are pretty good, huh?
Both lower ones are gone.
Oh, both of them are.
The blood and tissue samples are really important because we use them to do genetic analysis. The information we have on genetic analysis to compare how different Siberian tigers are from other subspecies. We've got to get that radio color changed, so we want to make sure that the capture is successful, but we're always worried about the animal's safety. That's number one.
Plenty of room, but I think I can give her a little more.
Which notch is the third one? Yeah, we've been going on the fourth on some of the adults. Okay. Time? Okay, we're gonna get tooth photos right now. Well, we age tigers by their teeth and by tooth wear, but for us to have photographs of the teeth, we can then compare all of our different tigers at the same time. Pull the lip up right here. Yeah, beautiful. We like to leave a tiger that's showing some signs of getting up. Whoa, head up, head up, head up. And once they start to show a little bit of head movement, it's still going to be usually another 10 or 15 minutes before they can really, get up and walk away or something, at least that long. But she's getting up. She's getting up. Okay, let's pack up quick. Well, it's really important to get these animals radio color because tigers are very secretive. You can't go out and sit down and watch them. With tigers, you can't do that. You almost never see them.
The information that we are getting is real important for putting together a conservation plan. It actually could save the species.
So we killed an elk.
When we started our research program here in 1992, our goal was not simply to study tigers, to have a better understanding of them from a scientific perspective. It was to develop the best database possible for the implementation of a conservation plan for the Siberian tiger.
Director of the Siberian Tiger Project, Dale Miguel, briefs John and Linda on the latest updates to the conservation plan.
In one system of protected areas that would provide a continuous expanse of tiger habitat from the northern limits of the range to the very southern limits.
It is a bold plan, linking national parks and reserves together to form a corridor that provides absolute security for the tiger and its prey. Siberian tigers require an enormous amount of space. Setting aside land for the entire population would be impossible. Tigers and people must share the land.
Tiger conservation is not just setting aside land, but it's actually finding ways for people to live in harmony or in coexistence with tigers. It means use of the resources, the natural resources, in a way that does not damage them.
Dale works with community members to implement tiger conservation on the local level.
The survival of tigers and conservation in general is very closely linked to the well-being of people. If people feel a sense of well-being, that their economic needs are being met, they're not going to turn to the forest resources and extract them in such an intensive fashion as when they feel they're being stressed.
Conservation will succeed only if the people of the region see the tiger as a creature worth saving. Biologist Bart Schleyer joins the team in this crucial effort.
Before the capture, before we take off, I'm just incredibly tense and nervous, and I think everybody is.
Social bonds. Katya and Larisha are providing valuable insight into tiger society. It is time to move on. But John and Linda...
Once we get into the...
Linda will return to Katya's home and continue searching for answers to the tiger's survival. Today, the scientists will attempt a helicopter capture of a tiger named Natasha. The batteries on her radio collar need to be replaced. If they fail in their efforts, a valuable study animal will be forever lost.